SWOT, SWOT. This is an analysis that businesses will typically do every 6 to 12 months, and our arts practice should be no different. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Strengths and weaknesses are internal aspects of your business and the things over which you have the most control. Opportunities and threats are generally external factors, and you may not be able to exert much influence, but they will affect you. If you've never done a SWOT analysis before, then today might seem like hard work, but the results will be so worth it. For today's exercise, I'm going to give you 15 areas to consider, and we'll try to list strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for each. Choose if you want to work on physical paper or if you'd prefer to use a spreadsheet. Either way, you'll have 5 columns. The area we're thinking about: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. For each area, either start a new page or start a new row of your spreadsheet. If you're working in a small team, get everyone to do the exercise separately so you can compare at the end. Pause the video now to get yourself set up. All right, are you ready? Did you get set up? Okay, try to keep it to the simple and obvious answers. Ideally, don't pause the video during the exercise unless you really need to. You might be able to cover S, W, O, and T for everything in lots of detail, or you might only come up with 1 or 2 items for each point, and that's okay. Just do what you can. The first time you do this is going to be the hardest, and then in the future, when you review regularly, it does get easier. Area 1, your perceived image. What do your customers, clients, or audience think of your work? What do your professional peers think of your work? What does the competition think about you? Are there significant points about your image that you are proud of? What about anything you want to change about how you're currently perceived? Area 2, your financial base. Do you know what your average weekly, fortnightly, or monthly income is? How stable and reliable are your sources of income? Do you have a high and low season for your sales? What other sources of income do you have? Perhaps you have a part-time or casual job? Are you lucky enough to have a trust fund? Do you rely on family or a spouse to cover your expenses? Are you entitled to any kind of pension? Is your income increasing, decreasing, static? Area 3, your products and your work. What kind of artistic value does your work have? Does it have popular appeal? What about critical appeal? Think about the type and variety of work you do within your arts practice. Do you have a wide range of work options? Are they limited? Could you dive deeper with the work you do? How would you rate your abilities? What qualifications and experience do you have? Have you considered professional development? What new qualifications are available? Are there unique or specialist skills you possess? Is your work very innovative? Area 4, your support base. Are there people who will show up to support your work? Do you have friends who understand the value of your work? Do your family see the value of your work? Do your clients, customers, or audience show understanding of your life beyond your arts practice? Can you access any support from government programs? What about community engagement? Have you received any sponsorships? Have you had recognition in the media? Or been nominated for prizes or awards? How big would you say your customer base is outside of close family and friends? Can you gauge their satisfaction with your work? How many repeat customers do you get? What level of loyalty do you feel your customers have? Area 5, your promotions. What would you say is the level of awareness of your work? What types of promotional activities do you do? How effective have your promotional activities been to date? Do you pay for any advertising? How successful has that been? What were your most successful promotional activities? What were your least successful? Do you feel your target audience is aware of you? Have you planned activities to maintain your current market? What about finding new audiences? Area 6, your prices. Do you know what your competitive position is? Is what you do profitable? Is the market accepting of your prices? Do they appeal to your target audience? Have you considered types of discounts, special offers, package deals, subscriptions? Area 7, your service standards. How would you rate your customer service skills? Are you good at responding to emails and phone calls? Do you have a professional manner when speaking with clients? Are you easy to talk to? Do you only talk about your art? Or do you connect with people on multiple levels? Do you like to give lectures or readings? Do you like to ask questions? Area 8, your location. What kind of standards do you have for venues? What is the quality or condition of your workspace? Do you have a separate space for creating your work versus showing or selling your work? What kind of security do you have? What about accessibility? Is there a car park? Convenient local transport? Ramps or elevators? Amenities like toilets? A kitchen? Are you close to an arts precinct or a busy shopping area? What do you have available online? Where are you visible online? Area 9, your organisation skills. Do you have a good grasp of financial management? What about other business skills? Are you good at public relations? How are you with computers? What computer programs or apps are you used to using? Are you good at organising your time? Are you better with face-to-face meetings than phone calls? Do you keep your equipment well maintained and up to date? Are you willing to do promotional activities outside of your main work? Area 10, political impacts. Are you up to date with your taxes? Are you aware of your tax and accounting requirements? What do you know about depreciation? Are you paying yourself any superannuation? If you have employees, do you know about your responsibilities with tax, superannuation, workplace regulations, and so on? Do you need any special licenses or insurances for your business? Do you know what council regulations apply to your business? Do you need to physically work in another country? What visa do you need for that? What about any income from outside your resident country? Do you pay taxes on that? What do you know about government funding? Are you aware of any government arts organisations at federal, state or local levels? What about industry incentives, not just for arts, but tourism, education or other associated areas? Area 11, economic factors. How much can people afford to spend on the arts right now? How long can you continue your arts practice without a reliable income? Given the unpredictability of the COVID pandemic, what insurances are available against loss of income due to reduced audience numbers? What about reduced tourist numbers? How much competition is there for arts funding sources at this time? What types and level of financial support are available to you? Area 12, social and cultural factors. What is the demographic of your community? Their typical age, income, general lifestyle factors? And does this suit your target audience? Is the number of people interested in your art form increasing or decreasing? What attitude do they have towards the arts in general? What about to your arts practice? Do local schools encourage experimentation and discovery? What social or cultural changes are happening in your community right now? Are young families moving in? Are grown-up children moving out? Has there been little change for a long time? How might these changes or lack of change affect your work? Area 13, technology. Has technology changed the way you work? Has it changed the way people see your work? Do you have a website? How do you use technology to manage the administration side of things? What kind of expectations do you have of your technology? What happens if your computer dies? What happens if someone hacks your social media? Do you rely on online payment systems, online banking? What kind of digital security do you have? How comfortable are you with new technology? Are there things you could learn more about? Area 14, environment and ecology. What is the impact of your arts practice on your environment? Are you aware of health and safety issues for yourself? For staff or associate artists? What about for your customers, clients, or audiences? Do you know about sound restrictions? Has the quality or availability of your materials changed? Do you rely on natural resources? Are you aware of attitudes and controls of the import, use, and display of the materials you use? Area 15. What else is there? Are there any strengths you have that we haven't covered so far? What about weaknesses? Are you aware of any opportunities that haven't been covered in previous points? And what about threats to your arts practice that are still weighing on you? Okay, now it's time to review all the things you wrote down and select about half a dozen items for SWO and T. Let's start with strengths. Choose things that make you feel good, that you believe set you outside the rest of the pack. For example, I've been doing a lot of professional development around inclusive practices in the teaching studio in the past year. And over a really broad cross-section too, performance anxiety, trauma responses, evolving gender identities, neurodivergency, and all sorts of possibilities for why people might come to voice lessons. And this also informs the way that I plan my performances too. The way I interact with the audience, what I expect from them, and what they can expect from me. It's different to other musicians who perform similar repertoire because of where my focus lies. That's a strength for me. What are your most impressive strengths? Are you a virtuoso performer? Are you using unique materials in your art? Do you have a fantastic venue to work in? Comment below so I can cheer for you. Next is weaknesses. Straight away, you can discount anything that you can't do anything about. For example, if you're a dancer that doesn't meet the height requirement to work in a particular set of roles, it doesn't help you to worry about that. But if you're a dancer who could use some development in tap dance, that's something you can think about embracing. For me, I have NAFLD, a dodgy liver. So I have to work around fatigue and chronic headaches. At this point, it's worth putting on my weaknesses list for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it makes me acutely aware of the need for flexibility in my schedule. I need to be able to work around the symptoms of my illness. Secondly, I'm not at the point of no return. If I take care of myself, I might improve, or at least not get worse too quickly. So I need to make sure I allow for personal time to mitigate the impact of my illness in the long term. What are the aspects of your arts practice you feel most insecure about? Do you need to upgrade skills or equipment? I want to upgrade some equipment, so that's on the list for sure. Moving along. What are your biggest opportunities? We've been hit hard with COVID in the last few years and it's not over yet. But what's happening around you? What's kept running through this that you could jump in on? Are there any funding incentives available in response? Are there more opportunities as people in your area get vaccinated? Are people looking for arts and cultural experiences now that they feel we're able to socialize or even travel again? I'm finding more opportunities in digital technologies. I'm utilizing video streaming to help me be a more efficient teacher. I'm developing my website. I'm finding people are a lot more open to online interactions in a post-pandemic world. Where are you finding opportunities? And finally, what are the external factors that could have substantial negative impact on your practice? For example, I know some musicians haven't made it through the last 18 months without taking on other work to pay the bills or even moving to a different place. That means I don't have the same connections I used to have in the industry. I don't know how big an impact this is going to have on my performance life yet. But because I'm aware of it, I can do my best to work around it. And that's what's important for the threats list. Get down the things that you're going to need to work around, where you'll need a plan B, plan C, and plan D. Do you want to go on tour? What if a new COVID strain hits? Currently, there are huge delays in parcel delivery with Australia Post. Do you rely on outside services that you can't control? You don't need to make the plans yet, but list the top things you'll need to consider as threats to your arts practice. So by now you should have a consolidated list of about 6 points each for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We're almost done. Before we finish up here, look at your opportunities again and choose another 2 or 3 items to add. Trust me on this, just do it. You don't have a lot of control about which opportunities will work out. So give yourself a couple of extra. You might also surprise yourself and make progress with all of them. Give yourself a little wiggle room for error and a chance to exceed your expectations. How amazing would that be for your arts business? That's your SWOT analysis done for now. If this is the first time you've ever done one, well done. Give yourself a little brag down in the comments there. I am super proud of you. As I mentioned, you'll come back to this to update every 6 to 12 months, but it won't be so hard next time because you already have this one to build on. To continue turning your arts practice into a viable business, or simply to follow me on the creative journey, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you hit the bell, you'll get notified each time a new video goes live. I'll see you next time.